Celestine Prophecy. So again, today I'm going to share about ninth insight, and thanks to Devi and Pranavi for joining me in sharing the insights. So let us begin our session, my dear friends. If you have any, if you do not have any sharings, okay. So just a quick recap what we learned. Of course, we all know that author James Redfield had on a wonderful journey to find these insights, right? So again, it is nothing an accident. It is everything is planning, and then the evolution is taking place, and he had become part of that, bringing the knowledge and wisdom to all of us, and we are very very grateful for this master. So first insight talks about is, very meaningful coincidences happens in our life, and we observed, how author was experiencing these coincidences in his life, which led him to book the tickets to Peru and fly to Peru, right? And the second one is historical perspectives are so important, my dear friends. And then we understand from the past, and we understand where we are going, right? So that perspective is very very important. And also, it is not from the it's not from the scientific way, but in the spiritual way, how we are growing, and this insight will help us. And then the third insight talks about everything is energy. That if we can train ourselves to see that subtle energy, right, we can see the energy in every being, my dear friends. Forget about being, I mean, everything is being, actually. Even if you take this chair, if you take a wall or anything exist here, is everything is like vibrating. But some of them are vibrating at high level, some of them are vibrating at low level, but energy is energy. And author experienced seeing this energy, and what this energy does to us, and what this energy does to plants. So when we communicate with the plants, what kind of crops we are receiving, and when we eat those, what is happening to our body, all these things very beautifully explained, right? So, and then the fourth chapter, he expressed that, competition of energy is happening in families, in everywhere, right? So instead of competing for the energy and becoming the energy vampires, we can give energy to each other to uplift. And we have to remember that, there is a big source of energy, and we can connect to that energy always. Only the way we are not able to connect is because of the judgments and because of the expectations. So remember the story, when two loved ones are in the love, in the beginning they are not expecting from each other, they are just accepting the person, and if sending the love to each other. So when they are sharing the love, they are like receiving abundant of cosmic energy, or like the subtle energy, whatever you call. But the moment they started expecting the other person to be this way or that way, that's it, they stop that energy, and we are depleting our energy, and we are experiencing the things in our life, my dear friends. And this insight says that, connect with that higher energy. And of course, it talks about energy abundance also. Everywhere the energy is so much, and like uh, there you can have it fully, so only way is to travel is only love, my dear friends. So love is a very integral part of our journey. Everything happens through the love, and through the beauty only. And of course, we are understanding that, right? And then the sixth insights talk about, very getting very clear intuitions, and then the controlled, I mean, the dramas what we are going through, that, control drama. And author talks about, few kinds of dramas are that, aloof, and then other things what Pranavi spoke about yesterday. And of course we can come out of this, and then also talked about how important are dreams. Like, it is important to pay attention to the dreams, and the dreams are expressing the parts of our journey, parts of who we are. And then it is going to help us solving the puzzles, my dear friends. And today we are going into ninth insight. So let me let me bring my notes just in case I don't want to miss anything, because this ninth insight is amazing. And uh, just a second, my dear friends. Okay. So here you go. So ninth insight starts, Sanchez, my father Sanchez and author James Redfield started their journey to that celestial ruins, right? And as they are going inside near to that area, they see so much beauty and a lot of energy. And someplace they James, no, I mean our author noticed that there is an empty space, and he asked like why this empty place exists. And then Sanchez said that they are creating the land for agriculture. That's the reason you are not seeing the grass there. And then uh, they are as they are traveling deep inside, and then they come to a T junction because they wanted to go meet Sebastian, right? So the T junction comes, and they do not know where to go. How do we even go there? Like they were confused. And suddenly our author asked that, do we go anywhere near Lewis? So the area name is Lewis. Immediately, Father Sanchez said that, this is the message you are giving. Like, we have to go from there. And then, how did you even ask this question all of a sudden? And then the author says that, Corner told me that Dobson will be coming from that Louis place. So then, of course, they decided to go there. Suddenly, they notice somebody is running towards them. And then they noticed that, Phil came to they noticed that, Phil is there. And then Phil comes and says that, there are so many soldiers, it is not safe to go there, and they might catch you, please, be careful. And then Arthur says that, how do you know that we are coming here? And then Phil says, I don't know, it just happened. And then later on, what they do is they follow Phil, and they parked at a place. And then they amazed to see somebody is walking, and that person is nothing but Dobson. So that insights, look at the insight, how it is connecting. And then they are so happy to see Sanchez, and then Arthur are super happy to see Dobson. And Dobson also equally surprised. So uh, then he asked that, where are you going? And then uh, Arthur and Sanchez said that to see Cardinal Sebastian, because he's planning to ruin the ninth insight. So that is where they wanted to go, and they want to meet him, and then explain like what it means. And then they are going to say that, I mean, they are planning to convince him to save those ninth insight. And then, it is going to help humanity, all those things, right? And then like but they notices that, Phil found a copy of ninth insight. And how this has happened is like, and there is a big story. But one of Sebastian's guard, he comes and he gives the part of the insight, not fully, but part of the insight to Phil. And it is translated copy. And then he started, because Phil read it, right? He started explaining about, what that insight says is. And he talks about energy of old forests. That's why when you go into the forest, right, you have so much energy. That's why, like, people are training themselves to go into the nature and spend time with the trees and nature. The reason is because they emanate so much energy. When we go there, we become that. So we are coming back with a lot of energy. And he talks about that old forest. And also the insight talks about, like, a human will be, sooner or later they are going to stay with these trees, like the 500 years old trees. They are going to live with these trees. And they do the gardening within those trees. And then they try to reduce the pollution and population. And they I mean, that is what ninth insight is talking, like, in second millennia or third millennia. So by the time people will reduce the population so that they can live the powerful life. That is what the ninth insight was saying. And the intake, the intake of food, clothes, and transportation will be very less. Like, everything will be taken care so beautifully without any overindulgence. Now, if you see everywhere, it is like, like, so people are having so many clothes, so many food options, and lot of transportation options. All those things are there, right? And of course, those are all comfort, but sooner or later, like, we have come to a point that, we started accumulating so much of this. And what do you mean by that? Food in stuff, like having two, three varieties. We have full of varieties. We have so many clothes in the closets, and we have so many cars and transportation modems in our house. Like, everything is overindulging, right? So the overindulgence will go. That is what the ninth insight is talking about. And also, the ninth insight, I mean, Phil was explaining all these things, right? So, and also he's talking about that, we don't possess and we don't control people, and no insecurities actually. So, and then we take what we need from the nature. So now the problem is because, like, we are very possessive of our family, for our community, our office, our job, our like, the materialist things, whatever it is, right? So we become so possessive, and we want to have that control over. And then insecurities. Oh, what happens if I die? Oh, what happens, like, if I lose job tomorrow? Oh, what happens? That insecurity, that's the reason we are trying to accumulate one after other, one after other, one after other, till we die. We are not even realizing that, we are just procuring, but we are not enjoying our life. Some people, they just die making money, earning this and that for ourselves and for family. But at the end, when they see that, they haven't progressed in their human consciousness at all, they're just thinking that, it might not be sufficient now, that's why let me accumulate more. So by doing that, we are also controlling the resources, right? So that is also this insight talks about, my dear friends. And people will also, this insight says that, people will change jobs so much because of their intuitions. Right now, if you see, like, from the past 15 years, we are seeing, like, before it was like all legacy jobs, or whatever you call that word. But now it is not like that. Youth, when I see the present youth, they are so radical. They just want to quit their job, and they want to pursue what they want, though the job what they are doing is giving so much money, but still they don't care. I mean, I am seeing so many kids like that, and it feels so happy that they are going towards their passions instead of, like, the same path what everybody is going, right? They wanted to follow their intuitions. They wanted to follow their heart, and they wanted to bring best from themselves. And that is what it is happening, my dear friends. And the beautiful thing, this insights, look at this insights from way long back. I don't know where those insights started. So those insights also talking about automation, my dear friends. Automation, automating things, right? you know and when we do automation, so we are saving lot of time. And like, everywhere, if you see automation is happening, and then uh, the only reason is to give us that extra time to think who we are, not because, like, in again, when this automation is done, you go and run for other thing. No, like, for example, right, we used to clean the house and mop the floors, and then, all those things. Now the robots came, right? They clean the floors and mop the things, and the small things. And we used to wash clothes with our hands. Now the washing machines are there. We used to have wash the dishes, but now the dishwashers are there. Like, if you take anything, right? We used to walk, and we used to travel in the horses, but the vehicles came. Everything is, if you see, automation is happening so much, so that it gives us more time to think. Now what we did, like with that extra time, we are creating even something else. So this is continuing, and this will come to an end, and then the more time we get, we try to spend in a spirituality. That is what this ninth insight is talking about. And also, uh, this insight talks about money, my dear friends. What it talks about is, when we give money, we receive so much. So when we give, we receive so much that, it is, we cannot even give as much as we received. So we come to that point, and the ninth insight is talking about this point. And this another wonderful thing it is talking about is that, our gifts should go to the person who have given us spiritual truth. So this is amazing, right? Like, we make living in many ways, but now this insight is telling that, you can make living with this way also, and we must share our gifts in a means, like in a materialistic way, or in a money way, or whatever, right? You must share with the person who is giving you the spiritual truth. And of course, this is also happening in these days, I see a lot. And uh, also they talks about, like, why we are not able to feed everyone in the world and save the ecosystem, because of our greed, right, my dear friends? And the insight is saying that, if we understand this insight, if we start living this insight, now we can feed everyone, because there is no greed, there is no insecurity, there is no saving of resources, right? Now I have, at home I have meals for 100 people. Instead of saving, I am giving at least a 90% of the meals that other people can eat, right? So, like, when we do that, everybody's around us are becoming what do you call, becoming abundant, I can say, right? So they are also having the things what they are supposed to have. So this is another one. And like automation, he spoke, right? And then this ninth insight is also talking about technology and fusion, artificial intelligence. I was so surprised to find this word. Back then, when I read this book, maybe 5 years back, I didn't pay much attention. But now AI is in the place. Now I've paid attention, that wow, this is also talking about AI. Back then, James Redfield written this book long time back, and then now we are seeing it, right? And superconductivity and everything is increasing, because like, it is going to grow, the technology is going to grow, the AI is going to grow, all the things are going to grow. So that is what Phil is explaining, right? And so another beautiful thing they said is automation in harmony. What an amazing word, right? Automation in harmony means automating harmony. How do we automate harmony? Like, now we are struggling for harmony, right? To create the harmony. What if we automate that process? Amazing thing. And of course we are doing it. We are asking them to practice meditation, read beautiful books to improve their knowledge and wisdom, and spend time in silence and nature, and take the energy, realize that you are an energy being. So, the once you start that journey, it is an automation. And when you create automation, what happens? It runs on its own, and your energy is always there, right? And the Phil is talking about forest energy also. Like, it's so important to, save the forest, so that we receive so much energy. And Sanchez was suddenly started, going into the deep thoughts, as Phil was explaining, right? So, all these things he was talking about, energy, right? So, all the mediums are why? Because we are increasing our energy step by step by step. And then Sanchez thought that what it feels like more energy, and how it accelerate, and how does it feels when we accelerate in our energy, right? So he was in that deep thought. And also he talks about spiritual culture. And now we do have that culture of this and culture of that, but Now people are going to come as a spiritual culture, and they are going to understand and gain the knowledge more. And of course, when the spiritual culture is there in the community, we are vibrating it higher and higher levels, right? So that is what it is happening. And like now when you see that, who reached these states, like many civilizations, right? So he gave an example of uh, Mayans and Yucatas. They all vibrated at high level, and they just it's a beautiful statement. He said they just disappeared, just like that. They just disappeared, that kind of progress they had gone through. And after them, like the Incas came, and then they are started living that. And also it's important to know that, our destiny is to increase energy every day as we in so when we increase our energy, right? So what happens is, yeah, like, in atoms in our body vibrates at high level. uh, our destiny is to increase energy. That's it. Like that is the reason we always say that increase your energy, meditate, save your energy, like gain your energy, and then admire the beauty, have that loveful thought. Everything is because we want to increase the energy. The more we increase the energy, as we increase the energy, atoms in our body vibrates at high level, my dear friends. And we are going to see what happens when we vibrate at higher level. And of course, Jesus walked on the water and transcended death on the earth, right? And in reality, he created the heaven and earth. So we will go into the things now in a deeper level. So this is what Phil was explaining. And then now, so they decides that, they go and like, talk to Sebastian and explain. Sanchez says things that, Sebastian wanted to ruin because he does not know. Nobody educated him well, so that he can really understand that, save the ninth insight. And then Arthur was again. He was like little hesitant. Are you sure you want to do it? And then he said, no, I have to try anyway. So they goes to Sebastian place, and it is a very big compound, and then there are so many soldiers, and he has created a great camp. And then they goes there, and then finally, I mean, there is so much story, but finally Sebastian meets Sanchez, and then Sanchez try to explain that please do not destroy this, and Sebastian says that if I don't destroy, like, nobody is going to believe the churches. Nobody is going to, like, that the world is going to be chaotic. They are going to live on their own. They are going to find out. They are going to live on their intuitions. For example, like, group of people are trained to go to church, or trained to go to temple, or like, the continuous mind is there. Now with the intuition, they are feeling that they do not have to do anything. They all they have to do is increase their energy and be they who they are. So, like, the kind of fear was instilled in them, that, this insights, giving this insights to the people will what do you call, destroys the system, right? It was like builded system. Now people are ready to explore themselves, and Sebastian really did not want it to happen. And he strictly says that it is not happening. And during that time, what happens, like just before that, Sanchez and Arthur, they both goes, right? And slowly Arthur meets another soldier, and then they are trying to hide somewhere. And then the soldier says that I read some of the ninth insight, and he talks about them, right? So after that, like, big conversation, and then slowly they notices that so one soldier comes and tells that some intruders are in the compound, and we are trying to chase them and kill them. And then they were just gazing, and the two intruders were Will and Julia. And Sanchez was requesting, right? So please don't do anything to them, and at least do this favor, and do not kill them, right? Anyway, you are not able to understand this one, and please have mercy and do not kill them. And then Sebastian says that, okay, I will not kill them, just don't worry. And then after that, they both leave. like big drama happens, and from there uh, Sanchez and the author, our James Redfield, and along with another soldier, they started going to the ruins. So and then they again, like Sanchez says that, okay, are we going to go to ruins? And then James says that, do we have even choice? So let's go. So as they are going, as they go, so they see somebody is sitting there, like, as they are walking inside that ruins, like all the pyramids are there, like, three big pyramids with a stone. And as they are walking, they're feeling so much energy that like it was totally different experience as they are going. And Julia was facing towards the other side, and they are seeing Julia's bag. And when they went there, and Julia is holding all the inside papers, like, that ninth inside paper, and she was just reading, and she was just sharing the knowledge and wisdom of that thing. So what she is saying is, like, our human consciousness, you remember the author was experiencing the euphoric experience on top of the mountain, the evolution of human, right, from the beginning till now. And uh, and the answer was, like, to our human evolution is to increase the energy, my dear friends, increase the energy and expand our consciousness. So all the thing is, like, becoming that energy reservoir, so to vibrate at the higher level, that is our purpose of life. And that is the reason, so that ninth insight is possible, like when we increase our, when we are giving with the intention, and we are experiencing that love and energy beauty. Naturally we are increasing our energy. So let us see what it means, right? So as Julia was reading, and she says that it is all about increasing the consciousness, increasing the energy in our consciousness. But as we increase the consciousness, we are going to, our atoms are going to vibrate at a high level. As she was saying that, they notices that Sanchez will, I mean, of course, and they saw Julia, but they could not see Will. Where is Will? So then Julia says that he's standing next to, I mean, in 10 feet away from Julia. As Julia was reading all those insights, I mean, especially the ninth insight, she is slowly becoming that muscleless person, and there are no bones, no muscles. She's becoming light, light, and she's glowing with glowing and radiating with light. What it means is she becomes completely light. As she was talking, and she was becoming light, and then Sanchez, and then James Redfield, they're all becoming light, the light beings, right? So they are vibrating at so much high level of energy, my dear friends, and they have become all light. If I can say this, that if you see the fan, right, when you when you switch off the fan, you can see all the wings of the fan. But if you turn it to the number one, you will see some of the fan, some of the wings. Number two, some wings. Number three, so some wings. Number five, so what happens? The You won't even see the fan, neither fan nor wing, because it is vibrating at higher level. So that is the purpose of our life. Increase our energy every time, so that we can vibrate at vibrate at higher level. And how she beautifully explained is, that is how the Jesus Christ did it. So we know the stories, right? Jesus walked on the water. How he did it, right? If the water is solid, and this person is solid, how did he walk on the water? So he vibrated so high level, and then he created his body to the light body, and he could walk on the water easily. Of course, like in many saints, like in Himalayas, or like, there are so many stories are there, right? We used to hear that all these things, but forget about Himalayas. There are so many people around us who is doing this in and out, my dear friends. Okay, it is who we have to know that this is possible, and this can be achievable, and this should be the purpose of our life, to increase our energy every given moment, my dear friends. So as they are increased energy, right, so Sebastian want to destroy the insights, right? So he was He sent soldiers. Soldiers were rushing and coming towards them with the guns and all. And these guys were thinking, okay, they are coming, but they are not afraid. They are not scared at all, because when they are vibrating so high, right? They were like, very calm and composed. So as they are coming, they are just walking other side. And they Sanchez says that, do not worry, they cannot see us, right? But we can see them, but they cannot see us. So this is what the astral masters, my dear friends, when they come and visit us, right? They come in very high level bodies, and we don't even see them. When we meditate, we can see them because we are vibrating at a high level. That's why we are able to see. Who knows? Now in our session, so many masters are sitting around us, like Mahavatar Babaji, Ramana Maharshi, my Patriji, Lord Shiva, Ganesha, or Vivekananda. Who knows? Like, they must be vibrating at high level and joining our conversations. So it is who we must increase the energy to understand this. And as the soldiers are coming, and then they notice it is not happening, and then other side the gunfires are happening, and with that gunfire and then the agitation, so they James Redfield started feeling like little bit of lower of the energy. And then immediately Sanchez and will and come and says that, do not lose your energy, focus on the beauty, focus on the love. So they slowly try to do that, and then after that experiencing is done, and they understood the ninth insight, right? So the ninth insight was not on the paper because it is so hard to explain. So one has to experience it becoming light body, right? Then only they can understand. So, even in Sitayanam book, the Sitayanam is a book from India, right? Rama and Sita. At the end, when Sita vacated her body, she just becomes a light, sparkles of light, and she disappeared in the air. So, it is from there, it is there, but we have decreased our energy so much that, we are thinking that this is true, our body is true, our mind is true, but we are at we have a capacities and capabilities of vibrating at highest level, my dear friends. And that's why, like, meditation is so important. Sitting hours and hours, gain the energy, gain the energy, gain the energy. So that is what important. And So when the experiencing is done, so they all know that this ninth insight, and slowly James and Sanchez appears in front of the soldiers, and immediately they catch James, and they ask so many questions about the insights and all. But now James knows how to play, and then he decided not to share anything. He played his aloof game again. I don't know anything. I'm just a mere traveler, and I'm going through all these experiences. People are following me, are chasing me, whatnot, right? And he shares story, and then the soldiers finally takes Redfield, and they take him to the Lima, and there he finds another master. I forgot his name, Carl. So, and then of course he meets Carl, and he calls knows that, are you happy? And then he was surprised. Of course, Carl knows that, they found ninth insight through some channel. And then finally Carl says that, okay, it's time for you to go. And of course that they are not in the written papers, but now you all experienced, right? All these people experience, like Julia and James Redfield and Carl, and then Sanchez, everybody experienced this, right? This knowledge is with you. Now it is your job to go and share this knowledge to other, right? So then the knowledge can be transformed and given to others. And with that note, and then finally the soldiers, one person comes and visit James, and he says that, it's time to go. And then they take him to the embassy, and they gave him his passport and then ticket, and they tell our author never ever return to Peru again. So, and then he sends him to the airport. Okay, just before that, when Carl was sitting, so he found that author thought that okay, there are nine insights, and then we were able to experience. Then the author, the call gave another coincident, another information message that there is a tenth insight. The moment he was talking about a tenth insight, all of a sudden Charlene started coming into his mind. You know, the girl who the journey started with the girl, right? Charlene. So, and when Carl was talking about 10th insight, suddenly James was seeing Charlene in his memory, or like, you know, the mind, she was popping up, and maybe some related to that. And with this journey, and he was able to find all the nine insights, and he was able to return to United States. And much gratitude that, you know, whatever journey he had gone through, right, my dear friends, that amazing, he just journeyed for all of us. Today we are sitting here happily and taking all the knowledge and wisdom what he shared is is amazing, right? It is an automation. If you see that they have to struggle so much to take all the nine insights, now we are happily sitting here, and some people are reading, some people are getting this information, and some people are like, you know, getting as a summary. But it is automation. The knowledge automation is happening, and this book gives me immense pleasure, and it is always reminds me to increase my energy day by day, and share the knowledge and wisdom what I have, and receive the same love from others, and give the love to others is what it speaks. And I'm so grateful that this book came again and again into my life, and also all of you, because if you are not there, then of course there is no point of reading this and talking to you guys, right? So when we read, we understand, but when we share, we understand more, because the first person to listen to your journey is yourself, my dear friends, because your ears are way closer than my ears are way closer than all yours, right? So whatever knowledge and information I share, right, the first person to benefit is myself. So I feel so good about it. And thank you, Pranavi. Again, thank you, Devi, for accompanying me on this journey with the nine insights. And thank you, Sharon, for today. You shared all the beautiful nine insights, and always you find a way to help with the books, finding PDF, finding videos, and you read that book and you summarized and you kept it in a small notes. I'm going to share it in the group to the higher benefits. So thank you so much once again. And I will open the platform so that people can come and share what they feel about. And yes, you can express now. Let me make sure you can.
Hi, Sheetal ma'am. Sheetal ma'am.
Yes. Hi, Devi.
Yeah, a wonderful insight, ma'am. I mean, again, might be like a coincidence, but I was actually thinking about what if uh, how this AI thing is going to connect in this, and literally you spoke about that today in this insight. I haven't read the ninth insight, uh, but I like one of the question I had, like yesterday I was reading, right. I had to hold a question, and had this question in mind: how AI is AI good or bad in the spiritual journey of everyone's, right? And how technology is changing, evolving a lot in our historic perspective. And then, and you rightly brought that point, and it amazed me how everything connects to a single thing called energy, and how